Hey, what's going on there, Dice Rolls? Paul here, and I'll be your DM for a little while. Listen, have you ever thought to yourself as a DM, said, hey, I might want to try to make my own little sandbox, my own little place, my own little area that my players can run around in and cause some havoc and trouble and whatnot. And then you think to yourself, I have no idea how to do that. Well, you were in luck today because we're going to talk about a book or a couple of books that are actually going to help you start building your own sandbox. And the two books that I'm going to be focusing on are two books by Robert Connolly. And the two books are How to Make a Fantasy Sandbox, and the other is The Isle of Pyade. Now, the reason these two books are going to go together is because this is like a math problem. You see, this here is the solution. Right here, that's the solution to the math problem. This is how you show your work to the math problem. This is how you got this. And I'm going to break it all down to you today in today's video. And listen, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and you'll get videos like this in your inbox on a regular basis. First, we're going to look at the Isle of Pyade. We're just going to take a brief scroll through it just so you can see the solution to the problem of how do I create my own sandbox. Because a lot of the things you're going to see here, you're going to see in development in here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Isle of Pyade. All right, here we are at the Isle of Pyade, and it is compatible with all rules and additions based on the original 1974 role-playing game. And as you can see as a note down here, each of the hexes are 3 miles across. Now let's go ahead and jump down here to the table of contents where you will see fairly traditional elements of every sandbox. You have terrain features, you have layers and ruins, you have locales, you have a city that was developed, the city of Mikva, and then you have important NPCs, encounters, and rumors, and then a word about ships. And the great thing about this PDF, by the way, is that it's all linked. So if you click on terrain features, it's going to take you directly to terrain features. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll down here just to kind of get an idea of how this is mapped out. Here you have the original version of the Isle of Pyade. Then there's some background, and Rob has put in there a timeline, a time before the Cataclysm, a time after the Cataclysm. And I think I mentioned this in my Wilhelm Reach series that I have on my channel here about the importance of a timeline. I've gone through some of that. It's over in my members area if you're interested in seeing a full exploration of the Wilhelm Reach and how it's put together. But as we scroll down here, we can see that there's all kinds of background. There's all kinds of kingdoms and who those kingdoms belong to. Up here is all the humanoids. As you can see, there's all the various cities. And as we move along, there's more maps, terrain features, like the Amur Forest with wereboars in there running around. But as you can see, according to the map here, this map didn't happen by accident. This map came about because it was detailed in one of the 33 steps that are in the How to Make a Fantasy Sandbox. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Then you have the Bay of the Dead. Once again, all in detail. All the different areas with a little bit of description for each of the little areas. They're not full pages. They're just paragraphs. They give you an idea about the sands. The southern end of the Isle of Pyade has an extensive stretch of sandy beaches stretching for nearly 4 miles along the shore and reaching nearly a mile inland. See, just very basic things. And then some of the things you may find there, giant scorpions and sahuagin. Here's the lairs and ruins, because your players need places to go and explore. But you can see that each of these layers is mapped out. There's treasure. There's items of interest, there's plot hooks. You have the Sahuagin outpost that may or may not cause trouble, we'll see. Also some great artwork in this book. Then you have some locales, and these locales are places where your players can start, such as Hoth, which is a village of dwarves. And in that village you have locations like the Minehead, Lord Dare's clan home, the Rusty Battle Axe, the Iron Master Camp, Upside. And then you have some encounters. Here's the little map here. Once again, this little map here, not super hard to do, and he shows you in the next book. Let me get through this. You have Sandpoint, which is a village of halflings. But I think you get the point. This book has all the elements that make up a great sandbox. Now, how did Rob come up with this? Let me take you over to the other book, How to Make a Fantasy Sandbox. and we'll look at his process. All right, so let's go ahead and start to scroll down here, and you'll start to see some of the locations from the Isle of Pyade and how they're being worked on. Here is Rob's process. These are the 33 steps that he walks you through to create your own little sandbox. But I'd be interested to know, would you like to see me work through these 33 steps as I work on my own sandbox? It is a sandbox of horror. And if you're a subscriber, well, you've already seen some of my videos on that as I create these different locales and layers. So I'm kind of already out of order, but if you'd like to see me go through step 1 through 33, let me know down in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So you can see step 1 there, sketch a world or continent map on one page. All sandboxes have to start somewhere. And then as we go down, what I appreciate about Rob's book, and I've heard talk about that, maybe this isn't the way to start off a book. Can I tell you something? This is a point of view. Rob has a point of view that if you're going to start your book off with things like air circulation and monsoons, that tells me something. That tells me that you have a point of view, and I appreciate that. You as a creator of the sandbox may not want to start here, but at least it's here if you need it. So let's carry on. Here we have the ocean currents. So if you want to deal with your ocean currents now, feel free. Rob has put it in there for you. And there are some people watching this that you really appreciate that. And there's going to be other people like, oh, I want to get over there to the layers. I want to get over the good stuff. You know what? Start where you want. It's perfectly okay. And as we keep moving, you can see over here on the right, you can see here's the continent. Here's what he drew. And then he moves along and he starts to label the important regions, as you can see over here. And things start to get more detailed, as right here it shows you kind of who inhabits these lands. And then he gives you the big bad, the Dark Empire, which I'm sure causes all kinds of trouble in this area. And then we move on to the present, after the cataclysm. And this is where everything stands now. Now, here's the campaign map. Here's steps 5 through 10. And this is where you draw mountains and rivers and hills and vegetation like swamps and forests and deserts. Now, here's something, to be honest with you, I've never thought about, and that is drainage. Where does all the water from these rivers go? This is starting to sound like a Seinfeld sketch. Where do all those rivers go? Where does any of them go to? I don't know. But if you're interested in drainage, go ahead and get some drainage. Then you have steps 11 through 13, deciding where to place your population locales. Where do the layers go? And I like this picture over here on the right, on page 29 there. This little picture here where you just look, you're just sporadically putting these dots. Here's a layer, here's a layer, here's a layer, here's a layer over here. Here's some ruins over here. You space them out enough to where your players can get to them in a reasonable amount of time. They don't have to trek 4 days to get somewhere maybe, because these hexes are only 3 miles across. And then some of these hexes are empty. There's nothing there in particular. That doesn't mean there's no encounters. It just means there is no layer or no ruin. And then you're placing settlements and your locales. And then you get into the regional background and history. And then there's the short descriptions of geography. And something else that I like about this book is that there are Rob notes. See, if you want to know what Rob is thinking as he is writing this, he leaves you these little notes all throughout the book to help you see inside his vision of what he was creating. And last but not least is the home base. And I'm going to end here because I don't want to show you the whole book. I want you to go ahead and purchase the book because I want you to support Rob. And I want you to go ahead and have a little bit of a surprise of what else is in there. As you can see, this is step 25 in the 33-step process. And the home base for these players will be the castle town of Mikva, predominantly human. Because players need to start somewhere. What better town than Mikva to start in? And Rob gives you all the steps to create that home base. And there you have it. Math problem solved, work shown. And links to both of these resources will be down below, as well as my Hex Horror Crawl will be down there as well if you're interested in that. But tell me what you think. What do you think about this resource? Is this something that you'd be interested in? Do you need this kind of process? I like this kind of process. I'm a process person. Well, I should say I like the process, and then I like to break it by going out of sync, which is what I'm doing right now in my own Hex Crawl. But I'll get back on track. I'll get back on track. You let me know. What do you think? Is this something you can use? Are you trying to create your own setting? If you are, leave me some comments down below. And don't forget, I've put a few videos right up here if you want to check out my Hex Crawl video or why I think Keep on the Borderlands might be the best sandbox setting ever. But that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you being here. Be sure to go and click the thumbs up button. That tells me you like the video and you want more of them. And I will catch you all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.